What's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Ksoo, and we're going to be talking about his brother, Krazy K. Now, this is a wild situation, man, and this builds off of what went down yesterday in court. Now, Ksoo was in court, for those of you who don't know, and if you want to know the specifics about that, check my last video about the situation. But, man, it's a lot to unpack here, so, man, stay along for the ride. Now, in the situation that Ksoo is involved in, man, he's got several different cases hanging over his head. Now, his brother, Abdul Robinson Jr., aka Krazy K, was implicated in one of the shootings of another rapper named Lil Buck. Now, Lil Buck's real name is Charles McCormick. Now, all this is tied in together and is playing out crazy in court because Ksoo's attorney took to social media and pretty much bashed the fact that the Marshals are putting out notices that they are looking for Krazy K. Now, they've been looking for Krazy K a while, and it's been interesting to say the least. But before we get to the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, man, in order for you to get a clear understanding of what's going on today, let's separate things, right? So you've got Ksoo, right? He's allegedly part of a crew called ATK. I mean, I hate to say allegedly because, I mean, he wears an ATK chain in his videos. He's got two cases hanging over his head. One of them is the murder of Bibby, his name is taken on a life of its own as far as social media is concerned and as far as rap in Jacksonville is concerned, right? He's also got the case with Lil Buck where he's been implicated in that. Now, if you guys need a refresher, here's a news clip from the local news in Jacksonville, and it'll pretty much give you an idea of what went down with that situation.
Jacksonville officers arrested 21-year-old Hakeem Robinson and his father, 49-year-old Abdul Robinson. Police say an off-duty officer saw a man fatally shoot another man outside of an employment center over on Merrill Road. Now, according to police, they drove off in a stolen car, which they crashed. At the time, releasing this surveillance video of the manhunt. Police saying the man held a homeowner hostage until they were picked up by another car. Hakeem Robinson is charged with second-degree murder. His father is charged with accessory after the fact.
Okay, so what you should have heard in that news clip there from the First Coast News is several things. That Hakeem Robinson, aka Ksoo, and Abdul Robinson Sr., aka Blue, were implicated in the shooting death of Charles McCormick. And somebody who was an eyewitness allegedly saw them running away, saw the murder take place, and all of that, right? And this came out in court documents, right? The witness testimony or whatnot. And they basically gave a description of the shooter. And yesterday, Ksoo's attorney went to social media and talked about that specifically. He said, hold up, man. Man, actually, let's look at exactly what he said. Attorney Christopher DeCoste, he's not scared to go to social media, man, and say what he has to say about the case and give his fans updates on how everything is going, right? So he had this to say on social media. He said that exactly the government has their snitches, but we have the truth. And eyewitnesses described the shooter as around 5'7" and under 170 pounds. Ksoo is over 6'2" and around 220 pounds. It's like mistaking me for his other attorney who's a lady, you know what I mean? Basically saying they have the description of the shooter all wrong if they're using that to say it was Ksoo. Well, interestingly enough, man, while all this was going down on social media yesterday, you had a lot going on in the back end, right? So you had Ksoo repost what his lawyer said right there, at least his team reposted it on social media, just giving an update to his fans. And along with that, they posted something else that another one of the attorneys had put out there, which was a picture of Ksoo in front of some building and them saying that, you know, basically letting his fans know that he's going to be home free and trying to continue the Free Ksoo plan or the Free Ksoo or Operation Free Ksoo hashtag, right? Now, what's wild is after, you know, they went live on social media, they just went to social media to talk about the fact that the description of the shooter doesn't match Ksoo in any way, shape, or form. Ksoo is too big. He's over 220 pounds. He is not 5'7". He's over 6'2". He's a big dude, right? Well, there was a news alert that went out, and it was from the Marshals office. The U.S. Marshals office put out an alert for Krazy K, and The interesting part about this is he matches the description of the shooter more than Ksoo does. Now, Krazy K, who is Ksoo's brother, was also implicated in the shooting as well. And they've been looking for him for a long time. This thing has taken its own life. Like on social media, it's been like a Where's Waldo of Where is Krazy K? Because dude has been on the run since I think about February this year. So in the news alert or bulletin or whatever you want to call it, they put it out there that Krazy K is an armed and dangerous suspect, and they put out a reward for his arrest or any tips leading to that or whatnot, right? Normal stuff. Well, this made Ksoo's attorney upset. And I wouldn't say upset, but it started a whole wave on social media. And he basically put out a message that he thinks games are being played on the back end because Krazy K fits the description more than Ksoo does. Now, originally, like I said, Krazy K has also been implicated in this shooting, man. It's also been called a retaliation shooting. And obviously, the person who originally lost their life was connected to Ksoo's family. You know what I mean? It was one of his brothers, allegedly, or whatnot. And it was supposed to be a retaliation for what went down to him. And that's how the rapper Lil Buck, aka Charles McCormick, lost his life, right? And this is all based on the news stories there in Jacksonville. And this is the official news reports. This is what they're saying. Now, the attorney took to social media and said this about the entire situation. He put this out there. He said, "No coincidence that hours after we announced the discrepancies, the feds offer a reward for a shorter and lighter brother. To the feds and JSO who are reading this story, JSO is widely wrong on what happened. This is what happens when you try to build a case around who you want to be guilty instead of objectively investigating the facts." That is a broad statement. I mean, that is a wild statement. So he's basically saying that they are going after Ksoo's lighter, smaller brother. So he means lighter by complexion and smaller brother because he fits the description of the shooter based on the witness testimony, man. Now, if we go back and we look at the bulletin that went out for Krazy K, you can see, I think they list his height at like 5'10", and they also have him listed as 170 pounds. So that sounds a lot closer to 5'7", 170 pounds than, what you would think as far as Ksoo is concerned. You know what I mean? Because Ksoo is a big dude, like we said before. But for his attorney to come out here and say that this disproves that Ksoo is guilty of that shooter, I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Is Ksoo actually going to be cleared for the shooting of Lil Buck? Or do you think that, man, this is just one witness's testimony and really doesn't mean anything? But for his lawyer to go on social media to say that, he must really feel real good about the case that they have as far as that shooting is concerned. Like, there's been a lot of news and a lot of media covering these situations, both of them. Remember, when Ksoo and his dad first got arrested, it was for the shooting of Charles McCormick, aka Lil Buck. But this does lead to some kind of doubt, man, when it comes to the jury or whoever sees this trial or whatnot, or when it comes down to when Ksoo has to answer for this. Obviously, they've got their sights on Krazy K now, and they've been looking for Krazy K for a while, man. He was in this case, like I said, back in like February or January of this year, and they've been looking for him ever since. So it looks like, man, this is going to continue to develop and be more interesting. And with that, what do you guys think, man? Do you think that Ksoo might actually get cleared of this situation? I mean, as crazy as that sounds, or do you think that maybe there might be more witness testimony and, man, he might be cooked anyway because he still has a whole nother case hanging over his head? Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this out content. And we out of here. Peace.